Hello again. I'm back. We are in section 9.5 for this video. It is about graphing using the slope and the y-intercept. Okay. So again, we were graphing at the beginning of this chapter, and for the last section, we went to finding equations of graphs with information they gave us. Now we're back to graphing, okay? So keep that in mind. This time though, we're using the slope and the y-intercept to graph. What does that mean? Well, let me expand this screen here, and let me show you what that means. That means, again, use the slope-intercept equation, to find the slope and the y-intercept, right? If you can get the equation in slope-intercept form, you should be able to find the slope and the y-intercept. Now for example 1 though, they gave us the slope and the y-intercept, okay? But remember that you can find it in your equation in slope-intercept form, okay? So this is just going to be an example of how to plot, well, how to plot your points, and how eventually how to graph the equation, okay? In this case we don't have an equation, but they gave us the slope and a point, well, the y-intercept, the y-intercept to be more specific. So let me cover this side, because we start here, okay? We start at the slope was, the y-intercept was 0, 2, because that's where you need to start, because the slope, you can't plot the slope not without anything, not without any information, okay? So you need to start by plotting a point, any point they give you, or any point you can find, okay? In this point they do give you one, the intercept, the y-intercept to be more specific, and the y-intercept here is 0, 2. So once you find it, you plot it, okay? Plot it right there, and from there the other information they gave you was the slope, okay? The slope, and I'm just gonna write it over here, 1 or 4, right? And what did we say that the slope was? What the slope is m, okay? You can think about it as m. You can also think about it as, and you should already know this by memory, okay? Y sub 2 minus y sub 1. Yeah, and if you don't, make sure you commit it to memory, like right now, as we're speaking here, okay? And that means the same thing as the rise over you run, okay? Y values as you rise. In other words, does it move up or down? And then the x values as you run. In other words, does it move to the left or to the right? Okay? That's all that means. And that's the way you need to think about it. Let me move my camera here. There, I think. Oh, yeah, that right there. That's good. Okay, so since I know that 1 is my rise, 4 is my run. My rise again is my y values that tell me if I'm running up or down. My x's tell me if I'm going from left to right, okay? Okay, so in this case I'm gonna start at the point I plotted, okay, and then do my slope from there. Okay, notice that I'm not starting at the origin, okay? I am not starting at the origin, not when I'm plotting my slope, okay? I start at the point I just plotted, and from there I hold on, there. From there I do my rise first. Yeah, I will start with my rise, and then I do my run. Okay, my rise is 1. Is it positive or negative? See, because you're right, it moves up or down. That determines that's determined by the sign. Okay. In this case, it is positive. Both of them are positive. So I'm gonna be moving up. Okay. So for my rise, I move up. How many units? 1 unit. So I'm right here. I'm not at the origin again. I'm right here. Move 1 up, and then for my run, again, that determines whether you move to the left or to the right. That's all. And how many units. And in this case, this is positive. This value is positive. Therefore, I move to the right. That's what this is telling me. How many units? 4. So I was here, 1 up, right? Then from here, I move to the right 4 units. 1, 2, 3, 4. And I plot my point there, okay? Plot it. And then use a straight edge. Use a straight edge to, well, it's already here, okay? So we already graphed the equation. Well, in this case, it wasn't an equation, but we did find a graph there, just with 2 points, okay? Well, with the point and the slope they gave us, okay? And yeah, it is an equation, because you know that you can set it up as an equation. By now, you should. Your slope is that 1/4, and your y-intercept is 2, which is the information they gave us. Slope 1/4, intercept 0.2. Okay. All right. So moving on to the next one. Draw a line that has a slope of -2, 3, y-intercept 0.4. Okay. So for the slope, again, for the points that we're supposed to start with, we need to plot the point they give us. In this case, it's going to be a y-intercept of 0.4. Okay, so here I do start at my origin. Okay, I start here. I do not move to the right or to the left. I do move up 4 units and plot my point. Okay, when you're plotting points, the beginning, when you're plotting points, you start at the origin. Okay, but now, since I'm plotting the slope, that's different. Since I'm plotting the slope, I start at the point I just plotted. Okay, and in this case, my rise. Okay, let's forget about this and 3. Now I tell you what, let me rewrite over here to the side. That's -2/3. All right, -2 is my run. 3, -3 is my rise. +3 is my run. And notice that here they gave us this value instead. Okay, this value doesn't look like my value. Okay, so then you gotta ask yourself, is that 2 a negative, or is that 3 a negative? Well, what does the fraction mean? So you gotta ask yourself, what is the operation, because if I know the operation, then I know which rules to use, right, for the signs. In this case, it is division. If I'm dividing a value by another value and get a negative answer, then it means that either of those two values are negative. Okay, either of those, but not both. Okay, so it could be that the 2 is negative, or that the 3 is negative. Okay, so these two are equivalent equations. Okay, because I'm dividing, one of them is positive, the other value is negative. One of them is negative and the other one is positive here. They mean the same thing, which is this here. Okay, or this 2/3. Okay, so in this case, though, you're gonna have to go from here to either this or this expression here. Okay, because this is not gonna work, because then you're gonna be thinking that both of them are positive. No, they're not, because if you divide into positives, you're gonna get a positive, but that's not what you have here. It's you have a negative here. So you need to think about this as being either a -2 and a +3, or a +2 and a -3. Okay, once you determine that, and it doesn't make a difference which one of these two you choose. Okay, we can plot the slope with either of these two. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. Let's go ahead and try this one first. -2/3. Oops. -2/3. And let me move my camera down a little bit. Yeah. -2. Slope is -2. That's your rise, and this is your run. Okay. So I'm starting at the point I just plotted. I plotted one there. I need to start from there. The rise, which tells me to move either up or down, is -2. -2 means I need to run down 2 units. 1, 2. And 2. Do not plot anything there yet. I'm not done. I need to do my run, and my run is +3. That means I run either left or right. In this case, it is positive, so I run to the right. 1, 2, 3. And then I plot my value, my order pair. Well, in this case, it's my slope. I plot a point there, and now I have 2 values, 2 order pairs, 2 points. And now I'm ready to graph. Okay, just use a straight edge and graph it, and it should look something like this. Okay, all right, so don't let this value trick you. Remember that fraction means you're dividing. Therefore, if you're dividing 2 values and your fraction is negative, either one of those is going to be a positive and the other one negative, or one of them is going to be negative and the other one positive. Okay, something like this. Oh, I said that we could use either of these fractions, so let's go ahead and try this one now. Okay, so let me go back to the point I plotted first, which is that one. Okay, so from there I need to move. My rise is now positive. Okay, +2, 1, 2. Do not plot anything yet. And then for my run, my run, I'm either moving to the left or to the right, and since it is negative, I need to move to the left. Okay, so I was here, my run is negative, 1, 2, 3, plot value there, plot my point there, and then just use a straight edge. You can even use your notebook, as a straight edge, and all of those points should be on the same graph. Okay, just like this here. So this point and this point, okay. And so yeah, that's correct. So notice that we did use the two different values, two different fractions, which meant the same thing, right? But still gave me the same graph. They still gave me the very same graph, okay? They gave me this, okay? And that's that for that example, okay? Let me turn the page here real quick, because I have one more example, or two more examples here. Oh, okay. Now we need to graph 3. Okay, so now they gave me the equation. They gave me an equation now, okay, in slope-intercept form. Okay, slope-intercept form. I can do that. I can plot a point, you know, from that, because I know that I have a slope and an intercept. In other words, my y-intercept, which I can plot. I can plot really easily. Okay, so I start with my y-intercept. I start at the origin. Do not move to the left or to the right. I move up 5 units, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and plot my y-intercept. Put my y-intercept there, and from there, my rise and my run are 3/4. 3/4. That's my rise, and this is my run. Okay. Both of them are positive, so if I do my rise first, that means moving up or down, and it's positive, I move up. How many units? 3. That's 1, 2, 3. And then for my run, don't plot anything yet. And then for my run, that means my x values, I move it either to the left or to the right. In this case, I'm moving to the right because that 4 is positive, and I need to move 4 units to the right. 1, 2, 3, 4, and plot my value there. Plot right there, and then just use the straight edge to graph your equation. If that's what they need to do, okay? All right, let's move on. For this equation, notice that this is not the right slope, and this is not, well, it is the right y-intercept, but it still is not the right slope, because this is not in slope-intercept form. This equation is not in slope-intercept form, so we need to make it into a slope-intercept form. Okay, that's x plus b. Okay, so that means that we need to solve for y. See, so I'm going to go ahead and rewrite. I'm going to do it here to the right, and I'm just rewriting it. That's 2x plus 3y equals 3. Okay, and then from here I need to solve. Again, if I'm solving for y, I need to move any positive or negative sign, any addition or subtractions of terms outside this term. Okay, so in this case, this term is outside, and since I'm adding here, I need to subtract 2x from both sides. This adds up to 0. 0 plus 3y is just 3y. Here I cannot, even though I'm tempted to add this to up, these are not like terms. Okay, you cannot add them up. All you can do is write them together. That's all you can do. Okay, now I have a multiplication here, so I divide by a positive 3 on both sides. That's my y. 3 divided by 3 is 1. 1 times y is just y. In this case here, I can't tell what my slope is and what my y-intercept is either. So I need to separate this fraction into two fractions, okay? Since I have a common denominator, I can do that. That's 2x over 3 plus 3 over 3. 3 over 3, that means the same thing. If I can simplify it even further, I will write that as a 1. See? So now I'm here with a slope of -2 over 3 and a y-intercept. Well, tell you what, let me write it here. -2 over 3 slope, and the y-intercept is the 0 for x, since it's the opposite of that, and 1 for my y. So now I'm able to graph that. So I will do that right now over here on their graph already, since they have it ready, and you can do that on your graphing paper. Okay, again, you need to plot a point first. Since I'm here and the y-intercept was 0, 1, that's what I need to plot first. 0, 1, right there. Plot it. From there, use your slope. The slope is -2, +3, or +2, -3. Okay. So I'm gonna say that my rise is -2. I see my rise is -2. I need to move down. Okay, 1, 2 units. Then my run will be +3 units. Move to the right, 1, 2, 3 units, and plot your point there. Plot your point. Use a straight edge. Graph it. Graph your equation, and you're done. Okay. And that's it. That's the end of that. The only other thing I need you to be aware of is that whenever you see a slope of I don't know, say 2x plus b, well, doesn't that mean the same thing as 2 over 1? See, because you still are gonna need a rise and a run. Okay, rise of your run, and that 2 is gonna be your rise, and that 1 is gonna be your run. Okay, so think about integers as being fractions. Okay, and dividing by 1. Okay, that should be your rise over your run. Okay, all right, and that's the end of this section. If you have any questions, you let me know in class. Okay, see you on the next